Hello everybody, it's GenZ Elite here, and today, for this episode, I'm going to be reviewing the 1.7 Caves and Cliffs Minecraft Snapshot. And we are going to be looking from the least significant to the most significant changes. So let's get straight into the video. First of all, we are going to be looking at a brand new light source, and that is candles. They can be stacked from 1 to 4, and each one gives off a different level of light based on how many are stacked together. I'll give a demonstration here, and I'll set the time to night. This is just one. As you can see, it gives off barely any light. Here is 2. You can definitely see it gives off more light. 3, which gives off quite a bit of light. I can see around 3 blocks or 4 around me. And 4. And 4 gives off the same strength as a torch, I believe. But the coolest part is you can actually make a proper birthday cake now. Just like that. Yes, we can put these guys on cakes now, so we can have a proper Minecraft birthday. Next, let's move on to this guy, the glow squid. As you can see, it glows, but he doesn't emit any light, so there's no light around him. You can just see him really well from far away. And this guy drops this glow ink sacs. And these can be used to craft this, the glow item frame. This is a normal item frame. Here's a glow item frame. And if you put an item in both, as you can see, this item frame glows a lot more. And so the glow ink sac also glows more. And you can see it way better in the night than with a regular item frame. Now, if I type here, even if the lettering is white, you can barely see that in the night. If you do this, and then add a glow ink sac, it brightens the text a lot more, so it's more visible. And that will definitely help if you are looking at signs in the night. Next, let's move on to the ore textures. As you can see, the ore textures have changed quite dramatically, except for lapis and diamond. And we also have a brand new ore called copper ore. And I think that texture looks pretty cool as well, with the orange and the oxidized parts, which are blue. So the reason they changed these textures is because colorblind people couldn't tell the difference, because the textures were the same, just the colors were different for the ores. So Mojang actually changed the textures, and now, as you can see, they're quite different from each other. They are all unique. And if I get emerald as well, it's also changed a bit. Copper ore is cool because it oxidizes over time. What I mean by that is, this is how the block of copper starts out. After quite a bit of time passes, it goes to this state, which is exposed copper. Then after another period of time, it goes to weathered copper, and finally to oxidized copper. And what this does is it actually gives a sense of age to Minecraft, as you can tell how long that copper block has stood there. This will stay like that forever. It will stay in the exposed copper stage forever, because it's waxed. And you can wax any of the stages depending on which one you like most. Another massive change is the world limits. The build height used to be at 256, not anymore. I will quickly show you with a little time lapse. So this was the old limit, and as you can see, this is still really high. But no, this is not the build limit now. We can go even higher. As you can see, this is extremely high up. We have reached the limit. And that is definitely enough space to build a spaceship or whatever you are wanting to build in the sky. You might have seen my extreme challenges video. Let's make that challenge even more extreme by dropping more than 200 blocks. And I will be doing it with the new block. Oh, I can't place it because this is too high up. The powdered snow bucket. And powder snow is basically snow you can jump in. It acts kind of like quicksand, actually. So we now have a wintry version of quicksand. And as you can see, frost is seeping over my screen, and if I were in survival, I would probably be taking quite a bit of damage at this point. What we can do as well is we can MLG bucket with this, and not only can we MLG bucket in the overworld, but we can MLG bucket in the nether as well, which is a really cool addition. Here we go. Not only can we build really high, we can also build even lower. The old world limit for how low you could go was Y level 0, but we are past Y level 0 right now. The world limit here is -64, and that is a dramatic difference from the limit being Y level 0. So we can go higher, we can go lower, but now it's time to explore the actual caves. And here is the cave now that we can actually see. As you can see, these are not the regular caves we are used to in the current version. And these are massive. You could build a mega base in this cave, and that's not even one of the biggest caves I've seen. And it just goes on, and you could go mining for real life days in one of these. And it's also a mob fest down here because there's so little light and so much room for them to spawn in. Now, as you can see, this isn't normal stone we're walking in. This stuff is called deep slate, and after we get underneath Y level 0, all the stone starts to get replaced by deep slate, and even the ores are affected. As you can see, this newly textured gold is in a block of deep slate instead of a block of stone, and here's a comparison side by side. As you can see, the stone is much lighter than the deep slate. Now, there is quite a few different blocks that were added as well as deep slate, and these are all different versions of deep slate. There is stairs, there is slabs, there is even bricks, which are my favorite part of the deep slate blocks. It has a great sound when you place or break it. As you can see, the deep slate bricks are lighter than the polished blackstone bricks and darker than the stone bricks. And just listen to the sound they make when I place them. That was almost a metallic crunch, and I think the texture is perfect for a medieval castle build. I've talked about the polished deep slate bricks, but here is the other deep slate blocks as well. There is, of course, deep slate, which is all around us right here. We have cobbled deep slate, and if you pick this up, you actually get the Stone Age achievement, which you get when you first pick up cobblestone. So this is basically the Deep Slate version of cobblestone. I'm going to do a quick test after I show off these blocks. If you get Deep Slate when you break Deep Slate, or cobbled Deep Slate when you break Deep Slate, just like how stone works. Next, we have Deep Slate tiles, which, as you can see, are much deeper than the Deep Slate and cobbled Deep Slate, and it could be used to build a really cool floor. Here is Chiseled Deep Slate, and the Chiseled Deep Slate has a similar pattern to a shulker box, and you could do a lot of things with this guy. Next, we'll move on to the Polished Deep Slate, and it's kind of similar to the Deep Slate tiles, just a little lighter. And of course, Deep Slate bricks, and I already went over this, but a few of these have cracked versions of them as well. For an example, this is the cracked version of the Deep Slate bricks, and I think this is pretty cool. Now I'm going to test if you get Deep Slate from breaking Deep Slate or cobbled Deep Slate from breaking Deep Slate. And here I am in survival, and now I realize this was probably not a good idea, because as I said before, this is mob heaven. Thank goodness though, this pickaxe does quite a bit of attack damage. So it actually gives you cobbled Deep Slate, so it matches how stone works in the game as well. You will need a Silk Touch pickaxe to get Deep Slate, or I can imagine you can put the cobbled Deep Slate in a furnace and smelt it to get Deep Slate. Now let's go on to block review and get out of here before I end up dying to a creeper. At the start of the video, we of course talked about the candles and how they can stack all the way from 1 candle to 4. And the more candles that are stacked, the more light level the candle bundles give off. We of course talked about the glow squid and the glow items, such as this glow item frame, and how it can be used to light up words on a sign. We have talked about all of the new Deep Slate blocks that are going to be added, and I did forget to mention, most of them come with their own slabs and stair versions of them as well. We have talked about ores and how they have their texture changed, and also how there's Deep Slate versions of them once you get below Y level 0. We have talked about the new ore, copper, and how it can oxidize over time. And what I did forget to mention is there is a cut copper version, as you can see here, and it acts the exact same way as copper does in how it oxidizes over time. I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. This is not going to be a one thing only, as there are 2 new biomes coming with the new cave update, and I'm going to be doing 2 other videos on them as well. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!